He checked his wallet one last time. $1, not 100, not 1,000, $1. And in that moment, standing in a gas station parking lot at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, he made a decision that would change the rest of his life. But not the decision you would expect. His name was Daniel. 3 years earlier, Daniel had everything most people spend their whole lives chasing. A business, a home, a reputation in his city as someone who made things happen. He employed 11 people. He drove a car he was proud of. He called his mother every Sunday and told her things were going well, because they were. Then the contract fell through. One contract, the one he had built the entire next season of his business around. It was gone. Within 4 months, the business was bleeding. Within 6, it was dead. The car went back to the bank on a Wednesday morning. The house followed 2 months later. 3 of his employees, people he had hired personally, people whose children he knew by name, couldn't find work for months after. That part hurts the most. Daniel moved into a single room in a boarding house on the edge of town. Shared bedroom, thin walls, a window that looked out onto a brick wall. He was 38 years old, and he felt like his life was already over. For almost a year, Daniel barely left that room. He told himself he was planning. He told himself he was recovering. He told himself he just needed time. But really, he was hiding. Hiding from the shame of what he had lost, from the faces of people who used to look up to him, from the voice inside his head that had started saying things he didn't want to repeat. His sister called every few days. He answered less and less. His old business partner reached out twice with opportunities. Daniel never replied. He ate once a day, sometimes less. He slept too much and thought too little. He watched other people's success from a distance and felt something he wasn't proud of. Not inspiration, but bitterness. And then one evening in November, he reached into his pocket and pulled out his last note. $1. He stood under the flickering lights of that gas station and stared at it. And something cracked open inside him. He told me later, and I want you to hear this carefully. He said, I didn't feel motivated. I didn't feel inspired. I didn't suddenly believe in myself again. I just got tired. Tired of being afraid. Tired of waiting to feel ready. Tired of letting one failure write the rest of my story. He took that $1, walked into the gas station, and bought a small notebook. Not a business plan, not a vision board, just a notebook. He sat outside on the curb in the cold, and he wrote one sentence on the first page. He wrote, I am still here. These 3 words, that was it. That was the whole plan. He told me those 3 words saved his life. Not because they were powerful, but because they were true. And it had been so long since he had allowed himself to believe something true about himself. He was still here, still breathing, still capable, still, despite everything, alive. Daniel didn't rebuild overnight. I want to be honest with you about that, because too many stories skip this part. It took 7 months before he made his first dollar from a new venture, a small delivery service, just him and a borrowed bicycle. People in his old circle would have laughed. He didn't care anymore. It took 14 months before he could afford to move out of the boarding house. It took 2 years before he employed his first person again. He called her on the day he signed her contract and cried in his car before walking back inside. Today, Daniel owns a logistic company with 23 employees. It is not the same business he lost. It is better because he is better, and he knows in a way he never knew before exactly what he is building and exactly why. He still has that notebook, the one he bought with his last dollar. It sits on his desk. First page, 3 words: I am still here. We spend so much time waiting for the perfect moment to begin, waiting until we have enough money, enough confidence, enough certainty that it will work this time. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is begin with what exactly you have. Even if what you have is $1, even if what you have is an hour, even if all you have today is one true sentence about yourself. The courage to begin is not the absence of fear. It is the decision, made quietly, made alone, sometimes made on a cold curb in November, that you are not finished yet. You are still here, and that is enough to start. If this story moved something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who is standing at their own $1 moment right now. Someone who needs to be reminded that starting over is still starting. This light was made to be carried. Pass it on.